The UK's government has again reiterated its commitment to supporting Rwanda's developmental efforts while also helping to address broader issues facing the region and the continent as a whole. Earlier, we spoke to Lord Ray Collins, who is the UK Minister for Africa, for a brief discussion on the matter.
Lord Collins, you visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial on Thursday. What was your experience there?
Well, I found it incredibly moving, and I was quite shocked at the images. But I came away actually sort of realising that one of the positive things about the museum was that it told the whole story from the beginning, from the 1930s, and how actually the genocide against the Tutsis started much earlier in terms of that dehumanising process. So I thought, I said to His Excellency President Kagame this afternoon, that was an important element of that museum, that it was an educational tool that children would appreciate, that it's not just the incident of the genocide, it's what led to its build-up, dehumanizing people, hate speech, all of those things that develop into, because words actually begin, genocide starts with those words, and I thought it was an excellent portrayal of how we can end up with such a disastrous and awful incident.
Okay. In light of the different challenges this particular region has continued to face over the years, what issues are you giving priority in your capacity as the UK Minister for Africa?
Well, the priority I've given and the message that I expressed this afternoon, both at the Food Forum meeting, is a message of commitment to partnership for economic growth. The focus has to be on economic growth, and that's not just simply about, it's about a mutual self-interest, because the new government in the United Kingdom is going to be a missions-based government, long-term missions, and our first objective is economic growth. And that objective is going to be reflected in the priorities of the Foreign Office. So my duty as a Foreign Office Minister and the Minister for Africa is to focus on how we can establish strong partnerships for economic growth. And the key is to build on the partnerships that we have with Rwanda, very positive, strong partnerships that have developed over the years, and it will now be renewed by focusing on economic growth.
Now, you recently addressed the UN Security Council on the matter of enhancing Africa's effective representation on the Council and spoke of obstacles to reform and the UK's determination to overcome them. What is being done in that respect?
Well, one of the key objectives, I think, in terms of the United Nations is to make it more effective. I'm always hesitant to use the term reform because it suggests that, you have to change things and get sort of overcome problems. And I think the key for the United Nations is that it embraces all countries. It's the forum for discussion across the board. And I think the fact that Africa does not have permanent representation on the Security Council is bad. It's important that the most important continent in the world has that permanent voice. And what I'm keen to do is ensure to support the African Union in coming to a conclusion on how the best that permanent representation can be achieved. But the United Kingdom is absolutely committed to ensuring that Africa has that permanent representation.
Okay. Now, turning our focus to climate change and its effects on the continent as a whole, what do you believe is the most effective way forward in dealing with this issue in particular?
Well, I think, as I said to the conference this afternoon, climate change is a incredibly important challenge for us to focus on. But the solutions, are not just limited to specific actions. It's taking a whole journey approach. And that's why I think our focus on economic growth is important, because some of the innovations that I've seen in terms of agriculture at the forum discussion, in terms of how we can expand trade, all of that is going to be able to address those specific issues of climate change. One of the places I visited was the ACES Centre, where dealing with the supply chains for agriculture, so much food is wasted in terms of its transportation, and how we can have cooling systems and develop those that ensures that products get to the market. And actually there is a very, very positive story to be told in Rwanda about those innovations. And those innovations can address, I mean, one of the things I've also seen is how we're expanding the extractive industries that will be important in terms of new energy sources, batteries for electric cars. I also drove on an electric bus in Rwanda. Again, all these elements combined together address the important issue of climate change. But I think for Rwanda and Africa countries, they have made the least contribution to climate in terms of its effects, but they suffer the most. And I think what we've got to do is ensure proper systems of finance to actually mitigate against those changes. And certainly I've had discussions with the government of Rwanda about how the United Kingdom can assist in terms of ensuring that finance is accessible as speedily as possible.
And finally, what are some of your priorities regarding to further bolstering the bilateral relations that exist between Rwanda and the UK?
Well, I think one of the things that I announced this week was how that we could leverage further investment into Rwanda. And I did make an announcement about £35 million fund to AgriVest, a company that is investing in small and medium-sized enterprise, which will be matched by other funds coming in. And that will provide a firm foundation for economic development and growth. It's a small contribution, but I think it's important that we recognise that young people in this country are incredibly dynamic and are very entrepreneurial, and those startups are the roots that will develop into stronger and bigger economic growth.
Lord Collins of Highbury, UK Minister for Africa, thank you for taking the time to speak to RwandaTV.
Thank you very much. Thank you.